Abracadabra, create what you speak with iLan Azoulai.
כמעט ואי אפשר היה לראות את הידיים בשקט נשלחות ומנסות מתחת לחולצה. יכולתי להרגיש את הזיעה נוזלת לרגליים, אפילו לרצפה היה דופק משוגע. ספרתי כוכבים על התקרה, הגעתי עד 200. ניסיתי להסיט את המבט שלא רצה לראות, ומישהו הציע לי אבקה, זה נכנס לי לעיניים. כשהוא התחיל לצחוק רציתי רק לבכות. רוצה לבוא למטה, יש כמה דברים כדאי לך לראות, אז למה אתה מחכה פה למטה? הכי נמוך הכי גבוה שאפשר, הכי נמוך הכי גבוה שאפשר. שמעתי אנשים שלא חשים קרוב עם השפתיים, שוכבים על מזרונים ספוגים נוזלים משנות ה-90. נפלתי מעולף על הרצפה, הביאו לי כוס מים, אבל המים היו חריפים. ואז הרקדנית התחשמלה, כולם מחאו כפיים. חשבתי איך אני מציל אותה, לאן אנחנו נמלט. ומוזיקה זולה פיצצה לי את האוזניים, אבל מבחוץ היה כל כך שקט. שאפשר, הכי נמוך הכי גבוה שאפשר. בוא, רוצה לבוא למטה, יש כמה דברים כדאי לך לראות, אז למה אתה מחכה למטה? הכי נמוך הכי גבוה שאפשר, הכי נמוך הכי גבוה שאפשר. אז למה אתה מחכה למטה? שאפשר. חזרתי כשהתחילה הזריחה, הורדתי נעליים, חיכית לי ערומה על המיטה עם פרחים על הפרקט. רציתי לבקש ממך סליחה, משכתי בכתפיים, כבר לא יכולתי לשאת את ריח החטא, אבל אם השמש יוצאת כל האמת.
Hello, welcome to Abracadabra, Create What You Speak. I'm iLan Azoulai, your host today and every time that this show goes up on the air. So welcome. What you saw is a song by Omer Koren, and the lady in the show, in the song, the actor is Lanita Damas. And it tells the story of what we're going, somewhat a version of what we're going to talk about, or what I'm going to share with you today. And I'd love to hear your comments, or to read your comments, and to see if we can engage in some kind of a discussion, some kind of a talk. And it's really interesting, this box that we're in, this stories that we are born into. You know, we're born into families. We're born into different stories of other people. We're born into different realities, and we're born into a box. And yet, we're all the time trying to get out of this box, right? To break these boundaries of this box. But many times, we need this boundary, this box, so we can have a purpose of breaking out of this box. But then if we don't have any order, if we don't have any kind of something that is somewhat repetitive, somewhat that is creating an order for here, because this is really what the mind wants an order, then we are in chaos all the time. And also when we're in chaos, we're talking about how from within the chaos, the phoenix rises and the star is shining through from the ashes and from the chaos. So it's always coming from a chaos to an order, if we fall out of order, then we're looking back to come to that place. So what it is really constant movement. The song is talking about. I came to be familiar with the song when I was talking with the lady, with Lanita in the film, in the song, and her story. She's talking to women about empowering, coming out of, in her case, a cycle of prostitution and drugs, and a lot of things that many of us experience, just with different stories, with different players, right? Different players in the story. So think about this like a computer game, not to diminish any kind of course, importance and significance of what we go through, of what people go through, but to illustrate it. Because sometimes when we illustrate and we put it in some kind of a illustration, then we can relate to it, because it's not directly at us. It's kind of like a backdoor kind of thing. So if we look at it like a computer game, players coming out of this game, you know, and I will talk about something that I wanted to share about, something that I saw, a film that I saw in the last few days, and writing something based and tied into that, of coming out of this box. And this box can be anything. This box can be beliefs that we tell ourselves. The box can be an environment that we live in. The box can be a family that we grew up into. The box can be a game, a level of a game where we're trying all the time to better ourselves, to better the position that we're in, to better the outcome. That is why we want to really better ourselves, is to better the outcome, to get a different result. Because if we don't want a different result, we don't do anything. If we don't want a different result, we stay in the same way. We get up in the same time, we get up in the same, we just are repetitive all the time. Now, aside from that, take also the repetitiveness in doing something that is not for us, that is not serving us, that is not beneficial for our own journey and beneficial for our own liking. Doing something or being in places for other people that is benefiting the other people, the other stories, but not really what we want. If I find these glasses that I just took off, there you go. And so the story is talking about, the song was talking about the cycle of victimhood. The cycle of victimhood, and victimhood can be, again, also in different shapes and forms. In this case, was prostitution victimhood that comes from different places, that arises. Everybody has their own story, and so I want to talk about coming out of this box. I saw a film, and I'll say the name of the film in a second. But I saw this film that is quite entertaining, actually. It's quite entertaining, light in its deliverance, but very serious in its concept. Of course, talking about where things are today. It's with Ryan Reynolds, and it's called Free Guy. And I want to say that the director is Sean Levy, and the screenplay, brilliant film, and how it's made, and the screenplay is by Matt Zilberman and Zach Penn. And I loved that movie. So here is the excerpt of the film, or the description of the film, and then I want to talk about the highlight, the climax of that film. That happens between 50 to 75% of the film, towards kind of the end of the middle section. It's really the climax. So here is the description. It's a bank teller. A bank teller discovers that he's actually a background player in an open world video game and decides to become the hero of his own story. Now, in a world where there are no limits, he is determined to be the guy who saves his world his way before it's too late. So this is without giving too much about the film, of course. So you go and watch the film. It's visually captivating. And it's really about coming out of this box that we sometimes don't even ask the questions. And like I talked about in my Friday video, this past Friday, when Abram was told by God, just go for you, not for anybody else, go for you. Go for yourself. So you can first of all discover your own voice, that you first of all can discover your own truth, your own vision, your own arc of your own story. Create your own story. And here is a kind of a snippet of I'm going to read a speech that Free Guy is giving towards the middle, the climax. And really, this is what I think the film is about. This is what it really amounts to. And he's speaking to this audience that is in the game form are not real in the sense of, can we touch one another? And I'm trying not to give too much about the film so you can go and see the film. And so here's what he's saying. Are you sick of living in the background? Are you sick of being shot at, being stepped on, taken for granted, being told what to do? Things in this city, or in our context, things in this world don't have to be that way. It can be different. And some of us, this is a cutaway, some of us are always going in fear, all the time in fear. Every possible scenario starts and begin with fear. But what if? But what if this will happen like this? But what if you can't do this? But what if this bad guy comes? Of what is so let's all the time be in standby and put our hands up just in case, that this guy with a gun comes, just in case that if somebody pulls a gun at you, just so you're ready, so you save time and raising hands, so you're already raising hands, right? And I see crime is being elevated in areas in LA that we haven't seen before, for different reasons, the need and political choices and all these kind of things. But so people will always already go in fear. So for starters, going back to the script of to the lingo of the film, for starter, put your hands down. But what if somebody comes? What if the guy with the gun comes? But here is the thing. What if the guy with the gun doesn't come? That's a concept, right? What if the guy with the gun does not come? So there are two options that something can go in either way. Can go in this way, can go in that way. Those who are constantly in fear will automatically choose to see that what if this is going to go down, so I'm just going to be prepared. What if this is not going to succeed? So I'm just going to be prepared. What if this is not going to happen? What if the way I want it to happen is just a waste of time? But what if it is not? How many times do we look at the positive outcome, the positive possibility, right? Abracadabra. Abracadabra. I create what I speak. That comes from Aramaic. All these bunnies from the hat come from abracadabra. So what if, good morning, Tommy. I tagged Tommy here, and lovely to see you. Good morning, good evening from Israel. Yes, I played the song. I played a song by Koren with Lenita playing in it in the beginning. So I hope you get to watch that. So what if we choose the positive outcome, the positive way, the positive outlook on things? Abracadabra comes, all these rabbit pulling out of the hat comes from there. All these concepts of magic that comes from abracadabra comes from these words, these power of these words. In 10 utterances, the world was created. What separates us from the animal kingdom is the power of speech, the power to use the power of creating the universe in a godly manner, because we are godly. We have God's sparks. We are a light that is compressed into so many levels to be fitting into this physical body. But we can create, we can manifest. And we manifest every day, actually. Let me correct that. We manifest every single day. What we manifest depends on what we inhabit, the place that we inhabit. What we manifest depends on the place that we choose to be at the time of manifestation, at the time of belief of manifestation. Right? So what do we choose? What do we choose when we ask to manifest? What do we choose when we are in those places? The power of the voice. So can we look at a positive situation rather than a negative? So what if the guy with the gun doesn't come? What if we can change the way that we are? We don't have to be spectators to our own lives. We can be whatever we want. We don't have to just say and say, okay, I'm waiting for this to happen or not happen. You know, in the holiday of Sukkot, there are um, the four kinds of vegetations that are the heads of the vegetations. We have the etrog, the citron, which is represented as somebody who has the actions and the teachings and the intentions. So that's the smell and the taste. There is the lulav, the date tree, that has the smell, that has the taste but not the smell. There is the um, willow, there's the arava that has no taste and no smell, so no actions, no intentions, no work. And then there is the myrtle that has the smell but no taste, that has the intention but doesn't have the actions. So which one are we? So everything comes back to tie into this. And this kind of film, this free guy, even the name free guy, in the computer world, oh, you get a free guy. But you can actually be that free guy or girl, or they or them or us or however or how many ever. We can be that. We can choose different. And if somebody is doubting themselves and they say, well, I cannot do that. I cannot do that because I don't have what you've got. And to that I say, and to that also what that script is saying, what's in me is inside you too. What is inside you is inside me. So we all have the same set of tools. Get that? We all have, and we all came here with the same set of tools. We all came here with a box of crayons. Now, some of us will choose to use 20 crayons, the entire box, or somebody will choose to use only 6 crayons. Somebody will choose to use only 1 crayon. Somebody will choose to use the entire canvas of their lives. Some of them will choose only the middle section or the top section. So we get to choose really how we want to be. And the system in which we're playing into, for the most part, in the system in which we're playing the game into, that system doesn't want us to wake up. Similarly to what's done with The Matrix and all these movies that are really tapping into the psyche. I believe that some of these writers, some of these directors had to have some kind of either a very deep meditative state, plant medicine work, or some kind of psychedelics, or something that is inducing that creative part in our brain. It is all part in our pineal gland, and it's all connected to all of our sections in our body, all of our tools. And so the system does not want us to wake up. The system wants us to continue, go shopping, go do this. Oh, don't worry about that. Go to the bank. You have to feed your family. You got to work. You got to work 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, 16 hours a day, so you can support your family. Don't have time to think. Go, 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 go. Go, go, go. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't think, because if you stop to think, your head will hurt. Maybe the head will hurt, but it's that pain, that discomfort before the revelation. And so it's interesting. There is here a metaphor in that film to water, and the metaphor to water is the crossover, is the part where one crosses over, but crosses over not in the sense of dying, in the sense of actually living. But in order to live, we got to die. In order to live, we got to die. What do we have to die to? We have to die to all that it is familiar, and many times it is to die to what we're comfortable with, if not all the time. to what we're comfortable with, because when we're starting to be comfortable into something, we stop being a seeker. We stop seeking. When we're comfortable, we stop asking questions. We stop digging in. We stop going the extra mile when we're comfortable. When we're comfortable, we're actually becoming blind. Now, it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. But sometimes we have to go through these back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, in order to be in a place where it's okay to be comfortable because we've crossed all these paths. It doesn't mean that we have to constantly suffer or suffer at all, right? Somebody said, pain is inevitable, suffering is our choice, right? We don't have to suffer, but sometimes in our soul level, on our soul journey, the journey of our soul, before we even got to manifest and to be inhabiting of this physical state, before we even got there, we chose to go through certain suffering, through certain experiences, because these experiences is what we need to open our eyes. This guy is getting some kind of a device that opens his eyes. A device, because sometimes when we are in this materialistic world, we need a materialistic device or materialistic existence to open us to the spiritual presence. Just like we know that God is everywhere, right? And we get signs and we get messages from God, from the universe, that will allow us to ascend. And how do we get this? We get this in a form that we can understand in this physical realm. So we get in this physical realm a form that we can understand in a physical form. So this guy, this free guy, is getting a device in his world so he can be open to see the other world. So he can be open to see beyond what he's comfortable in seeing. So let's see, what does he say here? So what in the film they're doing, they're using water as the metaphor for the barrier, for the crossing over. They're using water as the metaphor, as we just need to cross these waters, and when we cross these waters, we'll be able to be in the new world, in the world where we can be whatever we want. Fascinating. We can be whatever we want in that once we pass the water. So this free guy is saying, if you guys help me, we have to do this all together. We have to pass this water. And what I'm saying again and again and again, this is where we are to work together. We don't have to be close to one another in a physical form, but our power is in our unity. The system into which we are subjected to, we are part of this system that is controlled by 0.08% of this population, is urging us constantly with messages of fear, with messages of consumption, with messages of go get it, with messages of inflation, with messages of security, with messages of, oh, you have to help us secure the borders, or you have to help us so we can help you. Oh, you're sick, let us give you the medicine. But stop. How can you trust somebody to give you how can you trust somebody with the medicine when you know that entity created you sick in the first place? How can you trust somebody to heal you when they made you sick in the first place? And that is the system we're in. This system we're in, and it started way before the corona. The corona era is like the cherry on the top cake on top of everything that was done already. Starting with going from gold into thin air. We started from gold, physical gold, a resource. We started with a resource. We went to thin air. We got money, paper by these entities that created fake pieces of paper that are supposedly this is the value. And over the centuries, over the time, this money became more than gold. And now the money becomes thin air. In 5 years, we won't have any cash, if not earlier. Cash will be going away. Most of the places, except now payments by phone, they don't take cash, nothing. So we went from gold to thin air by lies. So this is a system. The Quranic era is the end, the kind of like the manifestation of everything that already was happening. So when we succumb and we are responding to a fear, what does a bully wants for us to do? When a bully approaches you, what does a bully wants? A bully wants for you to respond. A bully, somebody who is bullying you, wants you to respond. Commercial break. Shtu מים. Drink the fresh water. The concept of water is in bottles, right? Growing up, we used to drink water from the tap, right? And then water was privatized. A resource of this beautiful, magnificent ball of harmony has been privatized, just like other resources are being privatized, owned by people that didn't create this resource. So it's like it's like I can take a song of somebody and say it's mine. Hey, I discovered it. Columbus, he discovered America, so it is his. I discovered this song here, so it is mine. I discovered this resource, so it's mine. Let's make money on it. Why not? Let's make money of it. So, so this system wants us messed up in our head, wants us to keep taking medication, wants us to keep silence, wants us to go and take this shot because, you guys are sick, we need to help you. But who created that? I give this analogy of this: if you take red ants and black ants and put them in a jar, everything is fine. They're climbing on one another, they're ants. Shake the jar violently and pour the jar on the table, on the ground. The red will will want to kill the black, and the black will want to kill the red because they think they're the enemy, but nobody stopped to ask who shook the jar. So I ask you, who you think shaking the jar? Who is shaking the jar and why? Another great movie to watch is Wag the Dog. Wag the Dog with Robert De Niro, Dustin Hoffman. Talks about how create lie, abracadabra, creating a lie here, so we can do whatever we can do here, in this hand. When you're not watching, when you're all focusing on what's going on here, on war or security or quote unquote pandemic or all this kind, we're doing all the things here. Do you know that here's something that I don't know if some of you know or many of you know. In March of 2020, when this Quranic era started, the FBI got carte blanche. The law was passed. They do not need a court order to sniff your network connections. I'll say it again. They do not need a court order to sniff your network connections, which means it's a law. They can just tap into any American paying citizen or even a non-citizen, a green card holder, somebody who is paying, anybody is tapping into and looking at your internet. How fun is that? Welcome to America, or welcome to the world. Welcome to a place where you don't exist. Welcome to a place where you're just a barcode. Welcome to a place where you're just a number. And as a fact, we're going to make you digital. And we're going to take all your information, all these years, and it's in a mask of making things easy for you. Right? You want to go to board fast to airplanes? Oh, no problem, biometric. Oh, let's scan your retina. Oh, let's get your fingerprints. Oh, they'll be easy. Oh, you want 5G? No problem. You get better internet. You get fast internet, everything. Right? You want to be healthy? Here, let's push a shot for you. First shot, second shot, third shot, because the first two experiments didn't work. I work with sound. For those of you who know and for those of you who don't know, I'm a sound therapist, and I help people get out of their emotional blocks and map their experiences, understand the spiritual journey so you can manifest the physical one. I work with sound with people that experience this shot, that experience COVID. There have been COVID reversals. We can talk about this and you can reach out. But let's put things in perspective. Things have been taken out of perspective to create this chaos so we can stay in this chaos. We cannot ask questions. In 2016, Microsoft, now this is a public information as well, Microsoft received a patent. The patent number WO060606 says that companies like Microsoft, of course, for research purposes, have the exclusive right to mine the human body energy emission. The energy that we emit, that we have the power to emit, and the knowledge and all the tools to emit, including eye movement, hair movement, cough, sneeze, everything. They have the exclusive right to mine that process. How are they going to mine that process without being inside the machine? Now, how are we going to get inside the machine? We cannot just take people from here to there and force them with shots. We're going to make them want it. And how we're going to make them want it? We're going to take their health away and tell them we have the medicine. Do you want to be safe? Safe is the key, right? In other parts of the time, there was freedom. Now it's safe. So now it is safe. And how are we going to do that? We have to put something into your body and want you to want it. So you cannot blame us. So you cannot blame this 0.0 something %. So we are dictatorship 101. Take the people's health and tell them that you have the medicine. You're the king. And that's what has been happening. Commercial break. Commercial break. Commercial break. Commercial break. Commercial break. Yes, this is how it's done. This is exactly how it is done. It is done with taking the power away from us, taking away the power away from us, and telling us that we don't know how to use it. So we are going to take this power away from you, from us, and you don't have anything you can do about it. And the politicians are being put here just so we have a sense that we have a freedom of choice, but we don't, because we are not part of that club. We are not part of that club, and that club is for high rollers. So I just want to get the power. Ironically, I was talking about taking the power away, right? And the power for this machine was drained. So being out of this box, out of this such a holy concept for us, we grow into this box. I want to read you something that I wrote. This is personal and global, and there it goes. If what will happen already happened, and all the tomorrows are yesterdays, and the wet kisses from your lips would already be dried up and be deserted, then I miss our tomorrows. I miss our sunrises over the hills and below the ocean. I miss our lives that didn't happen yet, and our birth that didn't bring forth fruit. And I miss the trees that weren't planted yet, and their leaves that will still fall every winter, and their branches will freeze over. I miss our tomorrow's fireplaces and the grapes that will grow and wine. I miss our growing old together, for we haven't been born, and yet we already died. How can a song be sung and our voices haven't been tuned and our chords haven't been harmonized? Yet the score is written and the violins are ready, for the orchestra will always play to the hands of the poet who never wrote yet. If what will happen already happened, and these lines are already written, then the poet has risen and attached the symphony in stone and etched the symphony in stone. What if we realize? And I realized that, and every time it's in a different level, to break out of a system, really have to do a cut, a dry cut, a cut that changes everything, that shifts everything. Some people are okay with gradual change. Some people need a cut through change. So before we leave, this is I'm really grateful for anybody who is here, and anybody who is listening to this podcast, webcast. This, I haven't done this solo version in a long time. I had great guests in here. I will still have great guests on this show, and but really, I want to bring this show back to its essence of creating what we're speaking, and having some kind of a conversation, some kind of a engagement of how do we create, how do we choose to create. And this is an important time. And for me personally, it is being here in front of the camera, talking with you and talking at you here at the camera. It is just exhilarating. As I sit in front here of the camera, I feel the energies of those who are around. And so I want to, before I end this beautiful broadcast, I want to pull a card from the intention cards. Okay. And let's see which card will pop out at me. This is a card that, remember that this system doesn't want us to ask questions, right? This movie, this Free Guy movie, you got to see it. Go to see it. It's playing on Disney Plus. The system doesn't want us to ask questions. But if we don't ask questions, we don't learn. If we don't ask questions, we don't grow. If we don't ask questions, we just don't. And okay. So let's see. Love it. I love it because every question really is okay. So where is the camera? Oh, there's the camera here. Oh, you can see. Let's see. Let's see if I can flip this around. Oh, you can see it, right? Okay, yeah. What is the opportunity? Look at these shapes. It's beautiful. What is the opportunity? So these cards, these intention cards, I use them in sessions, sound sessions, or healing sessions, coaching sessions. These questions poke the essence of yourself. What is the opportunity? So we are now in a situation. You are watching, you're in a certain situation. We are here, we're in a certain situation. What is the opportunity? Remember in the beginning of the program, it's funny how everything comes together. I love it. In the beginning of the program, we talk about we can look at something in a negative way, but we don't want to take our hands down. We want always to stay in hikon. I mean, in hikon in Hebrew is standby. We are standing in a standby, right? Oh, in case the guy with the gun comes. Here is where this question comes in. What is the opportunity is the same as what if the guy with the gun doesn't come? Huh? What if the guy with the gun doesn't come? What is the opportunity? So that means is it's not that, oh, am I good enough? Oh, you are great enough. What if you cannot do it? But what if you can? Oh, what if I won't make it? But what if you will? That is the question to ask. What if you will? And it's not just to ask what if you can and what if you will. Do you want to? Are you ready? Are you ready to be there? And now some people, like in the film, some people will retract at first. It's like a rubber band. And the rubber band wants to snap back to where it was. But what if you won't? What if you can just like snip it and cut the tension cord, and cut the umbilical cord to what we're familiar with? Cut the umbilical cord not to what we're familiar with per se, but to that feeling and the need of the attachment of what we're familiar with. The need to what we're familiar with. Not necessarily what we're familiar with, not necessarily the familiarity, because it's okay to be in a familiar place for a certain period of time. But it is the need. It's like, here's an example. In some questions, you will get questions, or in dating apps, are you a drinker? Are you a drinker? Are you socially drinking? What's a socially drinking? What? Socially drinking, from what I can understand, is, oh, you drink only when you're with people here and there, and that means that you can drink, but you're not in the need constantly of that bottle, in the need constantly of that drug, in the need constantly of that smoke. But you can do it if you want to, and you don't have an attachment. So you can take a drink, and then a week you don't touch the bottle, and then you take another drink and another glass of wine, another socially whatever. But that is the harmonious and healthy place to be in, that we can be in a certain place, but we don't have to be in a certain place. We can experience certain experiences, but we don't have to experience that. We won't die or we won't go crazy if we don't get our fix, so to speak, because there is nothing to fix. So the positive is, what is the opportunity? So every challenge that we have, every challenge that we come across is, what is the opportunity that is coming out now? What is the best scenario, the best possible scenario that I can make of this thing? What is the opportunity? What is the situation? So this positivity, coming out, finding the different angles to break away from this box, break free from the system that wants to keep us into the system. Why? Somebody is making money here. And money is just, somebody's making money is just a metaphor, but it is literal and metaphorically as well. Somebody wants us in this system for their own benefit, for their own fix, for their own need. And the need, of course, many times is control. And it can come in many different shapes and forms. It can come in the shape or form of a guru. It can come in the shape or form of some kind of a leader, a game to keep the people in the game, a health system. Look at this health system, health system that we have here. That wants to keep us sick. It's to keep us sick. In China, you're getting paid to make the person healthy. If the person dies, then the doctor is kaput. But here it is to keep you sick so you can continue pay. There's just saw a video, a TikTok video of somebody in Canada going into a pharmacy, paying an inhaler, an asthma inhaler, which is learned. It is not an inheritance. Getting an asthma thing for like $3. No, it was in Thailand. Sorry, but in Canada, I'm sure it's not. I'm not sure about in Canada, but it was in Thailand. $3, where people here are paying over $100 for that little thing, for that little inhaler. that was most likely created by the same company that is creating that. So, breaking out of this system, what is the opportunity? What is the opportunity that we have now? The opportunity that we have now is our opening eyes. Bingo. That was just a noise. I don't know if you heard that. The opportunity now is to just see. First, let's just see. Another great movie to watch is The Peaceful Warrior with Nick Nolte. It's about this. It's a real story. It's about a real story about this athlete, Millman, in California, Northern California, that he met his private guide, his spiritual mentor, his spiritual guide. Not in the physical, but he was somebody who is like an angel, if you will, that guided him through. So this is also another great starter movie to see about seeing. So the first thing is to start asking the questions, because if we don't ask the questions, are we too comfortable? Or maybe we're just content, or we're just happy, or we're just happy how things are. Asking questions of everything that is happening. So I think today is coming to a wrap. If you've been inspired by any of this and you want to ask questions and you want to experience sound, I work with Tibetan bowls as a sound therapy tool. We're made out of frequencies. Each part of us is a frequency. It vibrates on different frequency. Our thoughts are frequencies. We are vibrating in a frequency depends, and we are manifesting depends on the frequency that we inhabit. Because what will attract to my frequency, that person, if I'm in the same frequency. If I'm in a negative frequency, I will attract the same thing. If I'm in a positive frequency, I will attract these positive experiences. And so I work with Tibetan bowls. And aside from Tibetan bowls, I do also voice analysis, which is called bioacoustics engineering. Taking a sample of your voice. And because our voice is a holographic representation of everything that we are, taking a sample of the voice, analyzing the voice, and finding all the places that traumas affected your voice, that all is represented in your voice. Do you believe what you're saying? Do you believe your existence? Do you want to find out if your partner is telling the truth, or if they're connected to the reality that they're speaking of? Are you connected to the reality you're speaking of? What traumas affected what in your body? What minerals are missing? What enzymes are missing? And all this you'll get in a report, and this is part of the sound treatment and NLP work, and coaching. So finding this meaning, finding the meaning in what we do, in our journey, in our lives, in our everything that we are choosing to be and to do, and breaking of these systems that want us locked, want us down. So if you have any questions, you're inspired, reach out in my YouTube channel, iLan Azoulai. Facebook is Body Soul Sound, and also iLan Azoulai. And I'll put in the first comment, I'll put the links. This is Abracadabra. Create what you speak. Have a wonderful, wonderful week and magic. See you later. Bye-bye.